The backdrop to Northern Ireland remains that this is a society which is brought up in a segregated way. Now that can be in schools, but in a lot of areas it's actually physical, it's territorial. People don't actually know each other. They meet each other in foreign relations, they meet each other through the television, they meet each other through slogans, they meet each other through events which occur on the street. And when that happens and people are defined in those terms, the problem is that tends to shape actual lives, and what you end up with, particularly in areas of deprivation, is shared out society rather than shared society. I mean, we continue to live in communities which are very, very divided, in which particularly young people tend to be brought to the front of actually doing things and are also clearly the future. So at some level or other you're deciding what kind of future you're going to have, and also how are young people going to engage in this society? Are they going to have an opportunity to take advantage of all of it, or is it still the case that they can be brought into the middle of conflict? Good youth work has huge opportunity here, because good youth work is actually about creating safety about things which are very risky. And community relations in Northern Ireland has always had this feeling that it's actually risky. You are personally at risk either in a violent sense or at least in an identity sense. You have to defend yourself. And I think that's true of all the issues that youth work has to face. So good youth work is about how do you create safety for young people to explore issues which are fundamentally risky and allow them to make decisions which then can allow them to change. And unless those kind of opportunities are provided where people look at things which are dangerous but from a place which is actually relatively safe, then I don't think anything changes. And I think that's true of community relations as it was always talked about in the Catholic Protestant question, but it's also true of all the issues people are facing into the future. Very often people are uncertain and don't know, and the value of good youth work is that without telling them where they have to arrive, it does say these are issues you have to address, and we're going to create an opportunity for you to explore this, not just in a talk way, although talk may be part of it, but actually in an experiential way. And only from that basis can we actually hope for any change. I suppose when I'm thinking of good examples of youth work, I've seen so many, but I did a piece, for example, in Lurgan, where young people talked about community relations. And for them what it meant was, am I safe to go to the park? Am I safe to go to McDonald's? Am I safe to be in this part of town with you? And actually they needed to explore that, because this actually affected young people's lives, not just in relationships, but in what they were able to do and how they saw their lives. Good youth work was about providing opportunities for people, first of all, to be together, to explore those issues. Second of all, to make relationships so that when they went to these places, they weren't going as strangers, they were feeling that there was people with them. And thirdly of all, to actually on the back of that build programs which engaged other people, not just young people, but actually brought the police in, brought the council in, brought people in to say, look, how do we actually make this normal? Now, I don't think you could have done that in a school. I don't think you could have done that for young people just by leaving them without offering them that opportunity. But the youth work created the possibility for young people to explore that. And then on top of that, once they had created a new group of people, they took the agenda on. They wanted to talk about other issues. They wanted to talk about issues of ethnic minorities. They wanted to talk about issues of sexuality. They wanted to talk about their own futures and their own careers in the economy and so on. And they were also much more aware of different aspects of the town and could bring that to bear in their understanding. So for me, it was crucially important to opening young people up to the reality of the world.